Assalamu alaikum. Good evening and thank you, Anushe. Thank you. I'm Karachi for inviting me. I'm honored to be here. And it's one of the very few times in my public career that I've ever been asked to come and speak about myself. I've been asked to come and speak about all kinds of random things, answer all kinds of questions, but never about my real self. Because I think going into a public career, especially one of media, is that you're perceived as someone else and you're looked at as someone else and no one sees the real you. So let me give you a little, what in movie language we call trailer or promo of the real me and my real journey. I'm not really a Karachiite. I'm from Quetta, but I chose to move to Karachi and live in Karachi because Karachi is a place where you can make dreams happen, where you can do almost whatever you want and get away with it, and really not have your neighbors bother you after that. When I started out, I'm usually asked, what made you choose this career? I didn't choose this career because when I was growing up in Quetta, which was a very conservative society still, and was more so that time, there was lots of people to tell a young girl growing up what not to do. Everyone would tell you what not to do, but there was no one to tell you what to do, except get married, have kids, be a good wife, and eventually die. Okay, parasitic existence. I didn't want to do that because I was constantly told, okay, you don't do this, you don't do that, this profession is good, that is bad. I didn't want to do nothing. I was from a family of achievers. My brothers and sister were gold medalists. My father was a leading lawyer, politician. I wanted to do something different. And I definitely didn't want to do what I was told. I was a rebel without a clear cause. So I thought that, okay, I was in college, people offered me roles. I thought, okay, it became a joke. And then I wanted to write because the more I looked into our society, the more social contradiction I saw, the more double standards I saw. So I tried to write a play and I took it to Pakistan television. And I was told कि आपकी तो वालदा अंग्रेज हैं, आप लोग पठान हैं, आप उर्दू नहीं लिख सकते, आप एक्टिंग कर लें. Forget it. You can't write Urdu. You can't write. You got a reasonably okay face. You can act. Okay, so I went to Quetta TV. I asked them, नहीं, आप लोगों की उर्दू ही ठीक नहीं होती. आप लोग क्वेटा से पठान हैं, एक्टिंग कर लो. I thought, okay, I always look for a way around things. I'm one of those people, being the youngest kid. I was always put in a position where I had to say yes. So I would always say yes and always do whatever I pleased. Never do what I was told. It became a standard in life, always say yes and do whatever you want. So I thought that, okay, if this producer makes me act in a play, fine, but maybe I can write part of it. And so my first play happened called Anarkali because I interfere a lot in the script, something which actors do and is very, very annoying, which I learned later in life. I did that play and thought, okay, now maybe I'll be able to do what I want, right? But that play somehow became very popular. And I got a couple of other offers to work from England and India. And I thought, India, okay, father in politics, father been with Muhammad Ali Jinnah, very dangerous ground to tread. But we've never been to India. I want to travel. I want to see what this is about. I want to see I was never a movie buff. I didn't know the names of most movie stars. Embarrassments I faced later in life. But I wanted to go to India, and it was great talking to the Raj Kapoor family. So I landed in India without a visa. Okay, landed at the airport, but because I was a guest, they put me at the airport and got a visa in 4 hours and took me out of the airport. Those were old days. It wasn't as sticky as it is now. Anyhow, I did the screen test and I thought, they're not going to cast me in the movie. Let me do the screen test. I'll spend 3 days here. I'll buy saris. I'll have a great time and I'll go back. 3 3 days later, when I was told that we have approved your screen test, we want you to come back in a month and a half, I said, oh God, what do I go home and tell daddy? Because I had just said I was going to meet a writer. Okay, I was economical with the truth. Anyhow, so it's when you choose to your life's journey along a path which is untrodden or seldom trodden rather than the beaten track, it's navigating a journey in the dark where you really, there's no one you can ask the way to because no one's been there before and nobody knows, and people in your circle really don't know what you're talking about and why you're doing what you're doing. But because I was the youngest, I was kind of indulged. Okay, let her do it. Not taken very seriously, thank God. So I went up there, but because I knew my family was not totally delighted with what I was doing, I couldn't come home and tell them if ever I had a rough day, which I had many of, because I thought this was a life of beauty, glitz and glamour. And when I was told you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning for your makeup call, and then we're shooting up in the mountains, it's November, we're some miles from Tibet, it's freezing cold, you get up at 4 in the morning, your makeup will be put on, and then we go to the top of a mountain and we shoot in front of something like 10 reflectors, which are directly on the sun, because that's the way, it wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. And I obviously couldn't open my eyes and was, ये कहाँ से लड़की आ गई तो आंखें नहीं खोल सकती है, कैसे फिल्म बनेगी, कैसे हीरोइन बनेगी? So my director Randhir, who was a very, very kind person, he said, look, what you do is you get up really early in the morning and you throw cold water in your eyes for a good 10 minutes and your eyes eventually get stronger. So every morning in freezing cold, I would wake up, throw cold water in my eyes and go, and eventually after 10 days I could face the reflectors and open my eyes. Okay, that's behind the camera because there is not that much glamour behind the camera. In front of the camera, yes, you need to open your eyes to the reflectors so that your eyes shine. But it hurts like crazy. And you have to smile and look romantic and look as if you're in love with a guy who's in a bad mood that day. Okay, a combination of things which requires resilience, believe me. I would want to eat a lot because I love eating. I was told, moti ho jaogi, khana band kar do. Okay, there goes the halwa puri and all. Anyway, it was an interesting journey. I learned a lot. And the most of all that I learned was to do with self-discipline. Get up at 4 in the morning, get your makeup on, get onto the set at 7 o'clock, finish work, and it looks beautiful on camera, but when you stand under the shower and are washing off mud and blood and makeup, it's not really glamorous. But that's the other side. That's the side that people who are not in media don't see. They don't see the injuries. They don't see the wounds that happen. They don't see the other disasters that happen during shooting. I've got scars from most of my major productions, but I think they stay with you. And the scars on the body don't matter as much as scars on the soul. But I was at the why I chose this career, how my family perceived it not very well in those times. The daughter of a very well-known barrister who was Attorney General of Pakistan decides to get up and go to India, enemy country, and act in a film is very, very red zone. For 2 years while I was shooting, every time I would come back because I could not stay out of Pakistan, I was very attached to my parents, very homesick, so every time it would be 2-day break, I would hop onto the flight from Bombay, come back to Karachi, and they would say, Pakistani ladki hai, bhag gayi? And I would come here and I would be told, India mein kaam kar rahi ho. And I would go to get my Indian visa renewed and I would be told, I would be stopped by the intelligence and told, kar kya rahi ho? Jasoos ban rahi ho? So that was those times. Now it's gotten worse. Anyhow, then I would be told, some people were excited by India, some people were not excited by India. The press was telling me, dekh lena, ye film mein jo hai na, kapde utarvaenge. Koi na koi aisi harkat sharmindagi wali karayenge. So I made sure whenever I was changing for 2 years, I changed in a pitch dark dressing room, which was not easy. But you learn to do a lot in the dark. I can't put my makeup on in the dark, but I can definitely dress in the dark after that. Those were two very formative years that taught me a lot and taught me a lot with resilience. Because when you choose a path untrodden and you're walking on it, anytime you stumble, anytime you fall, anytime you get hurt, there's no one you can complain to. Because anytime you won't even try to complain, all you hear is, I told you so. Why did you go that way? Come back, go the way we told you to go. And I never wanted to hear that. So you keep quiet. On both sides, you're in a vacuum. People say, okay, how come you're so down to earth? Obviously, I'm down to earth. I'm a movie star. I come home and I get told off for it. I'm going to be down to earth. And then, when I was at my prime, my first movie had been released, one of the biggest in the subcontinent at the time. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, something that was not in my family, totally out of the blue, which is an illness or now called a condition which stays with you for life. It's not curable. It means that you go through certain physical degenerations, possibly very, very fatal, unless you take several shots of insulin a day, unless you have a very, very monitored, clinically monitored life. I was devastated. And again, all these shiny, fuzzy dreams I'd built all collapsed. And I was admitted in a hospital next door, OMI, for a week. A little incident I'd like to share with you that affected me very much at that time was when I was admitted in hospital. One night, my parents came and they said, you can't have diabetes, it's not in our family, no one has it. Okay, fine. Sorry, got this as well. One of the attendants came in and said that there's another patient here who wants to see you. I said, sure. And this boy came in on a wheelchair. He was 17 years old. He'd fallen off the roof of one of the neighboring buildings and broken his spine. He would be in that wheelchair for life. He was good looking, he was bright, and he was educated. He'd seen my movie. He said कि आप लोग तो बीमार नहीं हो सकते, हम तो आप लोगों को फिल्मों में देखते हैं, हम तो आप लोगों से उम्मीदें लेते हैं, आप लोग कैसे बीमार हो सकते हैं, आपको कोई हक नहीं है बीमार होने का. And then he started chatting with me and he said, अच्छा आपको क्या पसंद है? I had been craving kulfi. Kulfi फालूदा बहुत पसंद है. And he came back the next day with this packet of kulfi faluda. मैं आपके लिए लाया हूँ. मैंने कहा आप लेके तो आए हैं, thank you so much, but मैं खा नहीं सकती. He flung it out of the window. He said, how dare you? You are the people who are supposed to be inspiration for us. How dare you be ill? How dare you do this? And looking at that boy, getting to know that boy, I realized that I was really ashamed of myself for having been unhappy about my condition, which was nothing. It was something I could live with, it was something I could control. And then when I learned how common it is, I decided that I have to become a role model for people with this illness to motivate them to improve their lives. That's something I've been working on, but it's not to do with media. I do that on a more private note. But it's, you can't give up. The fact is that you cannot give up. The minute you've given up, all the forces that were against you, that wanted to knock you down, have won. One of my best friends called me from New York when I was diagnosed and when it came out in the news and whatever, because I never made a secret of it. I don't believe in having secrets when you're public. And she said, "क्या हाँ सुना है ज़ेबा को डायबिटीज़ हो गई है अभी तो उसकी शक्ल खराब हो जाएगी तो तुम उसे कहना अपने कपड़े दे दे तुम्हें." Okay, ठीक है. So, ठीक है. But in short, the thing is that you have to choose your own path in life, because dreams are not made along the beaten path, nor are any dreams, nor have they ever been made out of 9 to 5 days. Dreams require some passion, some madness, some insanity, a lot of self-discipline, and a lot of driving force. One thing I'd like to say, I'd like to close with a little incident. Very early on in my career, There was a very small private musical evening where I met Madam Noor Jahan. And she was talking to someone very close to her who was on a downer in life. And she said, क्या कर रहे हो? हालात. मैंने कहा, वो इंसान ही क्या है जो हालात के सामने हार जाए? Those words have stayed with me for motivation forever. क्योंकि वो इंसान ही क्या है जो हालात के सामने हार जाए?